I mean, because I know you, like you said, I've seen in other interviews, you met the producer Flood, right?
Yes.
And he was telling you, yeah, go back, finish your degree, etc., etc. It's a big commitment and sacrifice. But how? Because having worked in the music industry myself, I know what it takes, and I've seen, met people like yourself who are at a higher level. So, what has your experience been when it comes to the sacrifices you have made, the commitment it has taken for you to do it at your level?
There was many years where I didn't really have a social life. It was quite isolating. Um, Obviously not making a lot of money for a long time. Um, I assisted for a while, and that can be sort of quite seemingly quite disheartening, I guess, because you you know that, or I remember having a feeling of like, I want to be the producer. Why aren't I there yet? Um, and resenting making tea. I went through phases of resenting making cups of tea, or doing the kind of what I at the time thought were kind of quite menial jobs. But there was a point where I think I started to understand that if I do these really menial tasks really well, maybe that will mean that they'll trust me to do other things and give me more responsibility.
Hmm.
So while the sacrifice, financial, social, obviously moving away from home and not having, I didn't really know many people over here. There were a lot of Australian friends who I knew over here, but I was starting a completely new career from architecture, and starting at the bottom. And I knew no one else in the industry. I had no real kind of, I didn't know what was expected of me. I didn't know what it was to work in a recording studio. I didn't understand for a long time what it was. But I think when I sort of realized that by putting effort into the early stages, and I really enjoyed it and got a lot of satisfaction out of doing a really good job for the producers and the engineers that I was working for, I think I started to get a lot more out of it. And I was obviously soaking up a lot of, information and learning loads from them. And um, so I think the experience was beneficial, but definitely my recollection was the if I could be the best assistant ever
Hmm.
and be the best support for whoever I was working with at the time, that would put me in good stead in the future. And also that the industry is so small and everything is about reputation. And it wasn't necessary. Once I understood it, it wasn't necessarily about me getting noticed. Like if a record label guy would come in or something, uh, not making the situation about me, but just being a good tea maker or something, and producers talk and they would say, oh, that assistant's sort of really awesome. And then another producer would want me to assist on a project. And it kind of, yeah, it happened like that. Flood was singing my praises, and then I got to work with other amazing producers like Ben Hillier, and Danton Supple, Steve Osborne. Who else did I work with? Dimitri Tikovoy, Dave McCracken, all these producers, and then Alan Moulder eventually. And that was kind of, by that point I'd assisted for a lot of people, and I felt kind of I had a lot more confidence and I could contribute a lot more.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, the main sacrifice was definitely no social life for a long time. Because also back then, the culture, which is it's very different now, obviously.
Is it
the,
right?
yeah, I think the hours I was doing, uh, especially in the first sort of 4 or 5 years, you could be expected to be in the studio for 14, 16 hours a day, sometimes 7 days a week.
But that was my
Uh,
experience too, actually. So
yeah,
yeah.
but I
So
feel like, I mean, maybe it's because I'm I'm the boss now, so I can dictate that. But it seems like, 10 or 12 hours is a good day in the studio. But also you have less time to do stuff too. So maybe we're becoming more efficient. I don't know. But it feels like the culture has shifted a lot.